welcome to block 12.
Yep, the last block that we do in the club. So congratulations, well done for getting this far.
Yeah. So this one is called Twister. A lot of fun designing this one. Looks very complicated. It's actually just a 2-row repeat pattern. The stitch itself is composed of 2 parts. You do one part first and then of course you do the second part. So basically you make the bottom and then you do the top and then you move on to the next bit. So it's really not as difficult as you might think. It reminds you of a few skills that you've done before. You make a puff stitch, you do a foundation row, you do a cluster pretty much. Yeah. So you've done a cluster stitch before. I'll call it a triangle stitch here because you started a little bit differently. So you do a treble almost. You do a treble at the end of your row. So yeah, so it's quite nice.
And just working through the back loop.
Yeah, and we work through the back of the loop.
All the way through. After the foundation row?
Yeah.
Right up to when you're going to do your edge.
Yeah, so when you do the edge, all around the edge, it's all ordinary crochet through both loops, but the entire block itself is worked through the back loop, which gives you these nice lines. So it gives you some nice texture to your block. All right, so I hope you really enjoy. All right.
And we'll see you next time shortly to show you how to put it all together.
Yes, everyone, and welcome to the lucky last block of our Afghan. This is block 12, Twister, I think I called it. Yes, I had lots of fun designing this. So it looks quite complicated, but once you work out what's going on, it's not. So you need to start with a chain of 41 or a foundation row of single crochet of 40s, which is what I've got here. So that's 40 single crochet foundation. Then you turn your work and we're going to do 4 chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then working into the back loop of the second single crochet. So if you're not sure, turn your work and see there's your first one. That's your second one here. So just here, yarn around the hook into the next spot, next stitch, back loop, pull through 2 loops, yarn over the hook and into the next back loop of the next stitch, pull through, yarn over the hook and pull through the first 2 and you'll have 5 loops on your hook. Pull through the first 4 and you'll have 2 loops on your hook. Then I want you to yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. Now you're going to make your puff stitch. So your puff stitch, yarn over and you're going to put your hook in to this space here. So into the space, wrap it around, pull the yarn through, yarn over, bring the yarn to the front, through the hole, round there again, and one more time. Wrap it around, through there, and again. Now, and then pull round over and pull that through. And see how this is all wrapped around here really quite tight. Now if I undo that and do it again and make the loops nice and loose, it will look very different. So we're going to yarn over in there and just pull that up nice and long. Right, so it's just nice and relaxed. Loop up nice and long. Hook in, pull the loop up, long again, yarn over, the hook in, around the back, pull the loop up, nice and long again. See how I've got these nice long loops here, yarn over and pull through. Oh, this looks a little bit different. So now we're going to yarn over twice. I'm going to go back into this back loop stitch here. And go through this. We're doing another triangle stitch. So we've done one in here. Then we're going to go to the next stitch into the back loop. And here. And into the next one. Here. I'm going to go through all 4. And then through the 2. Yep. Then yarn over. In between these 2 here. So into that space. Pull that through. Nice and loose. Yarn over. In between. Pull it up. Nice and loose. Yarn over. And pull it up. Nice and loose. Okay. So you're just going to repeat these steps all the way across your row. So yarn over twice, back into the stitch that you finished your triangle stitch on. So we're going back in here. So your first and last stitches of each triangle stitch will have 2 stitches in them. Into here, yarn over, into this one here. So that's 3 stitches done, and I've now got 5 stitches. Pull through 4 and pull through the last 2. Now we're going to do our puff. So yarn on into the space. Be careful that you don't go into here. You're going into there. Yarn around, pull it up nice and loose. And again. And again. Nice if you can keep your loops nice and even on your hook. And then pull through all the loops together. Alright, can you see that? We'll do one more. Yarn over twice. Into the same one we ended on. Pull through 2. Yarn over. Into the next back loop. The next stitch. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over. Into the next back loop. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2. We now have 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through 4, and then pull through 2. And we're going to do another puff stitch. Yarn over into the space. Pull it up nice and loose. Into the space again. Pull it up nice and loose again. Yarn over into the space. Yarn over. Pull it up nice and loose. Make sure your threads, your yarn's all nice and loose on your hook. Okay. Working along, we're creating a line across here. We've got all these little triangles sitting one on top of the other. So we're creating these little pyramids here. And then we've got all these little twisted tops on there. And then you can imagine when your next row comes along, you're going to do more of the same. Okay, so I'm going to finish this row and then I'll come back and do the next row. So now that I'm nearly at the end of my row, I just want to remind you of a couple of things. So it's a good idea to help you keep count. Remember that in every cluster or every triangle stitch, you're going to do 2 in every one of these here. So you're going to have like 2 there, and then you need to have 2 here. If you get to the end of the row and you do a count and your stitches are wrong, it's because somewhere along the line you haven't done 2 here. If your stitch count was correct in the first row, this is what's happened along here somewhere along the line. All right, you've got to remember to do the 2, because when I first did it, that's what I did. I forgot to put 2 in the one stitch. And I was like, why haven't I got enough? What have I done wrong? So that's what can easily happen. All right, so we get to the last bit and we're just going to do our last one here. So we do 1, 2, 3. Yep. Pull that through and again. And we do the puff. 1, 2, 3. That's all a bit tight. I'm just going to undo that. So it's easy enough to undo. Just let it go. Pull out a bit more yarn so you haven't got too much tension on your yarn when you're doing your puff. Make it nice and loose and relaxed. Loose and relaxed. Right, and pull that through. And then you're just going to make a treble in the back loop of your last stitch. There. Alright. Just there. 2 and 3. And then we're going to turn. So that's your row done. That's how your first row will look. Alright. Right, you should have 19 triangle stitches, 19 puffs, 4 chain and 1 treble. So that's your 4 chain, that's your treble. And then we should have 19. So let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I missed! I made a boo-boo! What have I done? It's here. I missed the last one. Okay, I've got to do one more. 1, 2, 3. So now we should have 19. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 1 treble and 4 chain. Yay! So we've turned the work and chain 1. So we're going to chain 1 and we're going to work a single crochet in the back loop of every stitch all the way across the row, just like that. Into the back loop all the way along. Okay. Remember, if you have trouble identifying the back loop, you can simply turn your work on its side and look at the work from the top. So that's the front of the work as you're looking at it. So this is the back loop. And this is the 2-row repeat for the entire pattern. It's not difficult. It just looks very tricky, but it's not. It's single crochet all the way along to the end. And you'll do a single crochet in the 4th chain. So these are the 4 chain that you did at the beginning of the first row. So you see you've got 1, 2, 3, and that's the 4th chain sitting right here. So I'm going to go into this 4th chain. Sometimes it can be tricky to get in there. You just need to manipulate the work a little bit to get your hook in. Put the hook in and make your chain, and that's your 40 single crochet across there. So that's the 2 pattern rows. So that's row 3 and row 4. So you're going to repeat rows 3 and 4 8 times for a total of 20 pattern rows from the beginning. So when I turn my work to the front, this is how it will look. So now we're going to repeat row 3 again, which if you remember, you start with chain 4. We chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you make a triangle stitch starting in the 2nd single crochet. So that's not this one, it's this one here. So yarn over twice and you go into that one there, through the first two, into the next, into the back loop only. Oh, I made a mistake. See? Into there, back loop only, into there, and back loop only, into there. Right. And then pull through 4 and pull through 2. And pull out some yarn to make sure we've got lots of slack to do our puff. Yarn over into the hole, nice and loose, nice and loose, and nice and loose. That's it. Pull that through, and that's our first puff. See, sitting right on top of that one. So because we've done the row of double crochet, we get this little row here, and because we're working in the back loop only, we've got this nice little line across here like this. All right, so you're just going to repeat this row here on here. Then you're going to come back and work your double crochet. So you'll end up with a block that looks a bit like this. And then you're just going to do a row of single crochet all the way around to finish it off. There you go. I hope you enjoy it. All right.